In this video, I'll be checking out the Linkifun GT6 Pro. This is quite a feature-packed AI box for wired CarPlay systems. It runs on Android 13 platform, has a Qualcomm 6125 chipset. There's an HDMI input as well as output, alongside a bunch of pre-installed applications such as YouTube, Netflix, and Disney Plus streaming services. It also has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto support, ambient lighting to improve the ambience of your car interior, split screen mode, TF card, and USB input for media playback. So overall, there's a lot to like here in this AI box. So that's a brief summary. Let's check out what comes inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a quick fire user manual. You get the GT6 Pro itself. There are 3 power cables to power the adapter. You get one USB-A to C. You get one USB-C to C. There's also a powered cable should your CarPlay port not have sufficient power for the GT6 Pro to completely operate. So you've got this power cable that you can plug into a 12-volt adapter, and then you use the USB-A port to connect to your existing wired CarPlay port. Now, being HDMI in as well as out, you have a short little full-size HDMI adapter because they both have a mini HDMI connector on the actual casing itself. At the moment, all sales come with a TF card free, which is 64 gig, and you've got a reader as well that you can connect and pass media onto that TF card before inserting it into the adapter itself. So looking over the adapter then, it's definitely unique in its casing. There's some artificial perforations up top, which the RGB LED lighting bounces off of. That's situated underneath this top cover. There's like a silver chrome cover on top, and underneath you've got actual radiator of perforated holes, as well as a metal heatsink to help with passive cooling. Around the edges are all the various ports. You've got the USB-C port to actually power the adapter, USB-A for media playback of stored videos and music files on a USB drive. You might be able to update from this port as well. On the very back end, you have a small little rubber door, which gives you access to a SIM card tray, as well as a TF card slot. And as we go around, we've got 2 more ports and a status indicator light. These 2 ports are HDMI out and HDMI in, so you can connect to a TV display or HDMI monitor through the output input there. And then for the HDMI in, you can plug in a games console, PC, portable gaming console, or anything like that through HDMI, and it will display on your CarPlay display. In between here is a microphone input port. This adapter can also accept calling out from the adapter without having to tether it to your phone. So you can use this microphone for that purpose. And then finally, we've got a status indicator light here at the end here to tell you that the thing is powered on and ready to go. I'm going to get this all loaded up with my accounts, and then we can jump in the car now and see how well this performs. So I'll see you over there. Okay, so we're in the car and we've got our GT6 Pro here, ready to get connected to our CarPlay port down below. So we're going to connect up the power cable into the adapter, and this end will plug into our CarPlay port down below. Okay, so going to plug this in and see how quickly it boots up. Okay, so we're now into the main menu interface. I'll put that down below how quickly that took. And we're into the home screen of the adapter here. There are 3 themes in total. It uses theme 3 out of the 3. And you've got theme 1 with a car bottom, shows you the altitude and kilometers or miles per hour that you're traveling. The widgets aren't as nice, if I'm honest. I think theme 3 has had a lot more work done to it, but that's how you change the themes. You've got a floating button, unfortunately. That allows you to go back home, do the Google Assistant and multitask, and you hold that also down to go into split screen mode. And I'll show you that in a minute. You've got quick access options, which is really nice to see for accessing Wi-Fi hotspot. And you've got screenshot mode if you actually want to take screenshots. You've got a media panel, which is going to play back content from things like Spotify, or if you're playing music from a thumb drive or TF card that's been inserted. You've got quick access to CarPlay and Android Auto wireless modes. Then you've got a small little area of apps that you can actually customize to your 6 most favorite apps. File Manager and Clear Tasks are already added in there, so say you didn't want that, you should be able to hold it down. It feels like these are actually locked in, but you should be able to change these to whatever other app that you'd like to use, such as like say YouTube. Exit will take us back to the car system, so you can actually get quickly back out. Tapping up here doesn't really do anything, but you've got status indicator lights of what Wi-Fi connection is like. GPS, Bluetooth connection, the time of the day at the moment. You've got navigation, music, apps, and media playback. Shortcuts, they don't change. I don't think you can actually change those either, so they're locked in. I would have preferred if this was like a back button, for example, and rule out this floating button interface. That would have been much more preferred. Tapping down here will toggle between a kind of two different home screens. You've got Google Maps built in to one panel, media panel again, and your GPS coordinates should you really want that. Tapping it will take you into AI Box settings, and from here you can actually customize a few little things to tailor it to you. You've got the version of the app, of the device, GPS positioning, changing your language, and going into the actual Android 13 settings area where you can change things like wallpapers, connect to Wi-Fi, hotspots, Bluetooth devices such as a controller or remote, as well as updating the system and things like that. Swiping will take you to almost like a second screen of the three screens. From here you can actually tap and actually add a widget from apps that have widgets supported, such as, for example, Spotify. You can put in a Spotify widget, so you tap and drag that into, say, this little tiny little section here. You can have like a little Spotify widget or any other widgets that come with Android apps. Quick access to media playback, music and video, Bluetooth, music and audio. Exit back to the car system again from this screen. Clear task to clear out all the memory from any running apps, and then again this takes you back into the settings screen. So that's that. You've got media playback again, that'll take you back to the video player at the moment. This one takes you back to apps that I've currently installed. I've got a few that I've pre-installed as well, but there are a few apps that come pre-built into the adapter without you having to download any. The ones of note is things like background settings. You can change the background. You've got Disney Plus and Hulu if you've got those accounts. Netflix is pre-installed along with Maps and most of the Google suite. Multicolor lights is basically going to change that ring of LEDs that's around the adapter. Should you want to have a fixed color, solid, glowing, or in a breathe state, you can have it graduating and spinning around the outside. Then you get VLC built in. Weather comes with the adapter as well, and that weather gets introduced in certain themes as well, or if you bring in the weather widget, for example, into one of the side screens here. And then you've got navigation, which is going to bring up the maps. That comes pre-installed, and that's basically the crux of the pre-installed apps. Now I've downloaded a few others, and we can check out some of the actual other apps that come pre-installed as well. So let's check out Maps, which obviously has preloaded into that panel, so it loads up super quickly. The 6125 chipset is super nice and rapid. No problems with that chipset. It's not the fastest, but the majority of AI boxes either use this chipset or the 6225, which is just ever so slightly faster, but it's negligible really. It's not a massive improvement in terms of speed generally, but that works. GPS is actually in the dongle itself, so you can either use that with offline maps and not have to worry about a connection of sorts if you like Google Maps native, or at least the tablet version. Let's try out some YouTube. We're currently connected to Wi-Fi from the home at the moment. That all works nice, buttery smooth. Very impressive actually. We can go into a video and just check that out. I didn't think it was possible, but the fact that it does charge with just the same connector as the CarPlay adapter. Okay, so a slight lag there in the video, which is pretty standard on at least my car system at least. But we'll go and test out a more audio test. Yeah, so it's just in the 400s to 500 range, so that will have some significant audio lag, at least in YouTube. Jump into Netflix and see any audio sync issues there. Everything looks nice and sharp. I'm impressed with that. It's just a shame about the audio lag.
The overtake on Valtteri created this spark and this tension between the two of us. That was committed, it was brave, it was brilliant.
Okay, so that works out really well. It's got stereo and everything. Lip sync, not too bad. You can just see it's slightly off. But for casual watching, I think that's actually a good enough pass for me. And then we've got things like Spotify as well. That loads up nice and quick, as long as depending on the internet connection that you have. And obviously that's running in a sort of tablet form. Just quickly going back to YouTube, that kind of shows itself in a similar kind of tablet view. So it kind of fills the screen there, and it's a little bit more navigationable. It is running a higher DPI there, so it's a bit more fitting for the car display. So that's the key test apps, and I've run a benchmark alongside all the other AI boxes, and this is one of the fastest. It's not the fastest, but it's the second fastest in terms of launching those particular apps. So considering it's a 6125 chipset, which is slightly lower than, well, significantly lower than the 6490, this is actually doing a better job than most other 6125 chipset adapters, and it's running at the same clock speed, same RAM. So they've done something good here to improve the speed of how this chipset runs. As for gaming, seems to run games okay. The more heavier duty games seems to have a bit of a problem. I don't have any problem with the audio as I do with the CarLink adapters immediately. Obviously sound works straight away. And gaming on this chipset is really nice. It doesn't really lag out too much, as long as you don't play a game that's super taxing on the GPU, because the GPU is really not that well capable for heavy duty games. So that plays really, really well. Jump into Subway Surfer, and this plays really, really well. Nice and smooth frame rate. Control is not too bad, but as a touch input game, it does really, really nicely on this 6125 chipset and the 610 Adreno GPU. The one thing I did see struggle was Asphalt Legends Unite. It really did struggle with the frame rate a little bit. I'll show you an example of that now. So for wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, it uses a unique app to me. It's called Car Auto. Visibility wise, it does look like majority of other like multiplay and speed play. You can see we're already into Android Auto here. It's detected my Samsung S22 here, and we've already automatically connected. Now you can see the biggest problem of this adapter for me is its Android Auto performance. It gets in there super nice and quick, but it's not showing its native resolution. I've not been able to get around this. It shows it a much higher DPI than if I was to plug it in natively. So everything comes out quite blurry. It's definitely usable. If I go into maps, it's definitely nice and usable, but it's just really blurry, and I don't know why they've done it like that. It's really unfortunate. It's very responsive in terms of Android Auto, and the audio sounds good. So around 2 to 3 seconds in audio delay within Android Auto, so that's pretty acceptable to me. Try a call test. Hello. 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 So you can see there the call quality is very good. The lag is amazing. It's very, very quick through Android Auto and iPhone calling. So very happy, solid pass there on the call quality. The interactions, it's not too laggy, but the biggest problem is just how it's handling the resolution. And I've spoken to them about this, and they hope to maybe roll out an update that might address better resolutions and handling for at least for Android Auto. The majority of their users are CarPlay based, so they've not really heard of this issue too much, but I brought this to their attention, and hopefully they can bring out an update that fixes the resolution that's being transmitted from Android Auto onto the GT6 Pro. So let's switch over to CarPlay. So we're going to disconnect from our Android device, and then we're going to dive into the Bluetooth connections here and look for the GT6 option per the device. And we're into CarPlay. So generally, I'll put that down below what that boot time is. And now into CarPlay, much better than Android Auto. Everything's nice and sharp and fairly native looking. Its responsiveness isn't too bad, pretty standard for most AI boxes at the moment. It's not going to be as good as a dedicated wireless adapter, but it does the job. We can go into maps here and give this a wiggle, come in and out, and just generally it's not too bad. And it plays natively as well. But just check out the audio delay.
Well, here we are back in the hot, muggy street of New York.
So roughly about 3 to 4 seconds. So it's a little bit longer than Android Auto, because Android Auto is already quite a bit longer than normal. But that's the kind of trait with most of these Android AI boxes, in that their wireless performance is going through like a software layer rather than going through hardware. So you will get that extra delay initially because it is processing everything a little bit more than a more dedicated wireless adapter does. Let's do a call test. Hello? 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 Okay, so a little bit more significant delay there than Android Auto. Semi-passable, I would say, about almost a 1 to 2 second delay there. So not the best, but it could be okay for general communication over calling. Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com. This is an audio test using the GT6 Pro from Linkifun, and this is an audio test. Okay, so no problems there with the microphone, in that it's using my internal microphone in the car. No problem there, solid pass for voice messages at least. Okay, so that's CarPlay in a nutshell really. Not much to report out. It is slightly lagging generally. Hopefully that can be improved through software. But again, Android Auto could do with much more improvement. So I've got a thumb drive here of media. So we're going to connect the adapter, enter File Manager.
A few moments later.
So wrong thumb drive. We're going to try a TF card instead. So let's recognise the TF card, VLC, and then we scroll to the videos and we can check out some of the audio.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
Okay, so not bad. Slight delay in that feedback in the local media. Whilst we're here, we can show you split screen mode. So we can load up maps, for example, from Waze, enter into split screen mode, and then we can choose something like YouTube and have YouTube and Waze going at the same time. So you can have a video full screen on the left hand side. There is some manipulation there, which is quite nice, and you can actually have it slightly bigger. Obviously you can then run that a lot bigger in the display and have a smaller thing. You can't do very small increments, so it's basically half or quarter. So you have a tiny little window and much bigger for maps, for example. So that's a very nice way, and it does it very intuitively, does it really well. I'm happy with that. So as for HDMI out and in, for out we can test this on a TV or a monitor, and I'll show that now, playing out on a TV or monitor and the implications of that. Now as for HDMI in, I could just show you a quick example of this. Imagine I've got a console, games console or something similar. So we're going to connect up the adapter to the HDMI input port, and then we're going to use a full-size cable, for example an HDMI cable that you've seen me use in a previous review. This one's from uni. And then we can plug in something like this Steam Deck here, and I'll plug this USB-C end into that, and then in the app section we go into HDMI in, and then here we have it already. And you could actually get an Xbox controller or something similar like a PlayStation controller, connect it via Bluetooth to a Nintendo Switch, for example, or something like this, and then you can basically play any particular games console over HDMI onto this adapter onto your CarPlay display. Now there is a little bit of lag on the actual screen itself between touch input and the screen, so anything fast moving might have a bit of a problem, but things like third person adventure games or games that don't require some significant amount of feedback, then they might actually be okay to play via this method. Now, it really depends on your CarPlay display screen size, because you might find that the Switch or similar portable games consoles screens might be very similar to your CarPlay display. But if you've got a nice big fat 13-inch display to play this on, then it actually might be quite good in something like an EV, for example. Whilst you're waiting for your car to charge, you can be knocking out little games like this on your CarPlay display. So you can see I'm playing Rogue Squadron from my Steam Deck on my CarPlay display. All the sounds coming through the car speakers. There is a slight delay in the audio though, so do factor that in mind, and don't crash. So yeah, you could have some good fun with the right hardware that's connected via HDMI. So yeah, choose the right game though, choose wisely, not this one. Yeah, so it's slightly delayed in the audio, so you might want to factor in the type of game that you might want to play over this method. Okay, I could be lost in hours if I carried on doing this, but we've got another review to do, so let's quit this. So the Linkifun GT6 Pro currently retails for $238 right now, directly from their online store. And you can use my coupon code CarPlayLife to get the price down to $202.30. And I'll leave links to the store down below so you can learn more about it, support the channel, and buy yourself one. Generally, I found this adapter to be one of the best AI boxes that are in that price range, that lower price range. It's the best performing 6125 adapter that's currently out there at the moment. It is below all the 6225 adapters in terms of its benchmarks. If you put all the benchmarking apps together, it is the second fastest below the 6490. So it is actually faster in app launching than the 6225 chipset AI boxes that I've currently tested. So it is a fast adapter. Now, the only thing that's let it down is its Android and CarPlay functionality, more on Android side. So if you are an Android user, you don't mind the blurriness, then do check this out. But if blurriness is a thing, it might be my system that's conflicting with this, but I've had it on both a CarPlay display and this, and the Android Auto is not looking great. CarPlay is okay, you can get by, but it does have a significantly more lag in its wireless transmission than a dedicated wireless adapter. So if you do want wireless CarPlay and you can do away with all this kind of Android 13 OS stuff, get a wireless adapter. But if you want YouTube and things like that and you can get away with that lag, then go for it. It's definitely a great adapter with lots of nice features. The interface is actually quite nice considering the competition. You've got the 3 themes there, and you've got lots of widgets you can actually apply as well. So you can actually customize it. You could even install your own launcher to override this theme and UI, so you could actually go around it and actually do away with a few things there. 8GB of RAM, 128GB of storage is definitely plenty for this type of use in the car. It runs games okay. High intense games, as you've seen, do struggle, so keep it to the bare minimum, or 2D based games, you're not going to have any problems. So generally, very good AI box from Linkifun here. Really do appreciate the community from telling me about this adapter. I did reach out to them to supply it, and they luckily did, and I also thank them for that. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, leave us a thumbs up down below and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the GT6 Pro from Linkifun. You can support the channel by giving us a super thanks. I really would appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.